Henderson, and this is Your Voice, and do we have a show for you today? My guest today is the former CEO of the Detroit Medical Center. He's also the former Assistant Wayne County Executive and former Wayne County Prosecutor Mike Duggan. He is considering running for the mayor of the city of Detroit. I'm talking with Larry. Welcome to Your Voice. Larry, you're
Good morning, Angelo, and to your guest.
Good morning.
Mike Duggan, you're doing an excellent job of renting Negroes in Detroit real cheap. What is your role with the EAA?
I am a member. I don't know about the first part of that, but I am a member of the EAA board, which is the Education Achievement Authority that is now running 15 of the poorest performing schools in the city of Detroit. And let me tell you how that came about, because I'm proud of it. I had a meeting set up with DMC with Governor Snyder about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when Robert Bobb, who was then the emergency manager of the schools, announced that he was going to do budget cutbacks that were going to have 60 kids per class in the city of Detroit, which I thought would have been tragic. When I met with the governor, instead of talking about DMC, I raised hell with him over how he could permit something like that to happen.
But like he mentioned renting Negroes. I know I heard a prominent Detroit City Council person today describe you as master coming in to help the slaves is what the connection was. When you hear that kind of stuff, what do you say? How do you respond? I know, first of all, how does it make you feel? Second of all, how do you respond?
It's what I expected when I got into this race. And of course, you saw one of my opponents on January 1st attempted to do the racially divisive stuff, and it blew up on him. And so now he's using surrogates to do it, and it's what I expected. But I guess here's what I feel, and I got a chance to see a role model. When Barack Obama started running for president, everybody said a black man can't get elected in this country. And then it became clear he was making progress. They ran the Reverend Wright stuff at him to try to create racial division and play on racial fears. And I watched the calm and the grace with which he handled it. And I do expect this stuff to continue to come out, generated by the other campaign. And I am going to keep dealing with the way I have. I've now done 45 home parties in every corner of this city, sitting in people's living rooms and their basements. I'm going to do 200 more before this is over. And at the end of every night, and they're usually virtually entirely African-American groups, at the end of every night, the great majority are signing up for the campaign, because when we sit down and talk to each other as people and talk about the problems of the city, we can get past the historic and very deep racial divisions and get on to the problems of the city. And so I'm not going to engage in that stuff. If you as a voter have a very precious right to vote. Nobody should tell you what you can and cannot consider. If you think because of my background I can't relate to your concerns, you ought to vote for a different candidate. But if you want the police to show up, the street lights to get on, and turn the city around financially so we push the emergency manager and the governor out, you ought to look at who has the track record of doing it, and that's the choice the city's going to have to make.
All right, we're having some phone issues, you all. I was trying to get to CW and Brother Levi. Right now, let's see. Miss Marcia's here. Miss Marcia.
Yes. Mr. Duggan, I listen. We are not listening to all that mess like we didn't do it with Barack. You have new ideas. I have people who worked over there at the hospital. We know what you can do, and I am 100% for you.
Well,
you will be on my friend's TV show. So listen, I'm a senior. I've been here 40 years, and I was robbed at gunpoint a month ago. But I believe you got good ideas. I want you to leave your telephone number and your email. I don't have the $2,000 to take to come to your thing, but I think I can do some grassroots stuff. We all want you in office, Mr. Duggan, okay? I think you're excellent, and I believe in your ideas, and you are new blood, and we need some new blood here, and you're just the man for the job.
All right, well, we'll find a way to get you to that fundraiser, Ms. Garcia. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will give you an opportunity to let people know how to join your campaign and find out more information. And as soon as they call back, I got to find out CW and Brother Levi. Those are two callers who were called for whatever reason we're having technical difficulties. When you call back, we'll try to get you on first. We'll be back, you all, here on Your Voice. Brother Levi, talk to us, Brother Levi.
Man, I got to say, Angelo Henderson is the baddest talk show host in the state of Michigan.
I appreciate you, man.
You are, brother, because I thought with the phone thing, I said, well, they're trying to put some salt in the game. But you got brother Levi Stubbs on with Mike Duggan.
Good morning.
You're a bad brother. Listen, and I'm going to be very respectful. Mr. Duggan, with all due respect to you, sir, when you think about the reservations and apprehensions and fears and suspicions that most black people have when it comes to voting for a white mayor in the city of Detroit, we have to validate them. We have to be honest and sincere when we speak. You're a straight shooter, and I respect you for that. I'm a straight shooter. You know, some Germans, not all Germans, but some Germans were responsible under Nazi Germany for putting Jews in concentration camps and putting them in ovens. So to this day, Jews don't trust Germans or Germany, nor do they look for Germans to come in and solve Jewish problems. Some Jews were responsible for taking the land from the Palestinians in a war, killing their men, women, children, babies. And to this day, Palestinians and Arabs really don't trust Jews, nor do they look for Jews or to Jews to solve their problems. I don't know you as a person. You may have a good heart, brother, sir. However, the fears and suspicion of most black people, you have to say is valid because white America, white men, white people have a history of putting our people in chains, Jim Crow, segregation, lynching. When I hear you say, well, my problem, I feel that the crime problem is due to these teenagers strapping on gym shoes and then strapping on guns and going out in the streets. All I'm hearing is, here's a white man who wants to make black youth the poster children for crime in Detroit. Here's a white man. Angelo has a teenage son. I have a teenage son who we raised them up right. But I would hate to go back to when I was a child, when I would look out the window and see white stress and big folks just indiscriminately going through the neighborhood, targeting every black person in sight because a few were committing crimes. Mr. Duggan, I respect you as a man, but in all due respect, why don't we talk about the real criminals? Why don't we talk about the people who put on suits every morning and go down to the city-county building and construct legislation that is against black people, construct these different laws and do things to create the conditions that lead a person to go pick up a gun and rob a person. Why don't we talk about Governor Engler, a white man who he didn't strap on no gun and no tennis shoes. He put on a suit up in Lansing, and he went and he signed legislation to cut mental health services, sending thousands of mentally ill black people and whites out into the streets. And then you look and you say, we're going to label this person as a criminal, but the person's mentally ill.
Well,
so with all due respect to you, sir.
So, Mr. Stubbs, nobody had more public fights with Governor Engler than I did. And so I don't believe that we're all the same. But, Mr. Stubbs, here's what I would ask you, is I've done 40-some of these home events. I would love to come out to your neighborhood and sit with you face-to-face because you say the Israelis and the Palestinians still hate each other. How do we ever get past that hate if we don't sit down and talk with each other? And if you'd be willing, I'd love to come and sit with you in your neighborhood with your group of friends and just talk honestly. And I have a feeling by the end of the night that your opinion might not be so harsh. And if you'd give me that opportunity, I would love to do it.
Okay, he lives in the burbs.
Oh.
Okay, Tupper, real quick, Tupper.
Yes, I'm listening to you, and you're very calm. You're surgical with a respectful consideration to the tone of the question. You got me when you used the phrase in reference to your time with DMC with shared sacrifice. They mentioned these killings that went on in Detroit, over 400. And the city of Detroit, not only the population is dying, but the neighborhood, the spirit of the people, the confidence in political leadership is dying. And I'm inspired to listen to you because I just watched the program on PBS about abolitionists. You're a real man up in here. And I am proud to say I'm American because the way you talk, it appears to me that you have the interests of the people at heart. And you are trying to bring the community and business together, and you recognize that it's going to be a shared sacrifice that we all must make. making social contracts with businesses and the people around the businesses.
Okay, hold on, Tupper. Hold on.
And so, I mean, thank you very much for the comments. And one of the things I'm most proud of is one of my strongest supporters in this campaign is Mike Harris, the president of the AFSCME workers at Detroit Receiving Hospital, who was the president of that union for the whole 9 years. And we had our ups and downs together, and it was shared sacrifice. And he's now out there campaigning for me every day because he says, look how we got through it by sticking together, unions and management, together. And I do believe the city is not as far away from being turned around as it appears. And if we pull together, I believe we can get the city turned around.